Hi there, I'm Emily Muchanti. I am a reading specialist, an interventionist, and a little bit of a reading diva. And today I want to talk to you about what are the 5 ways that you know you need to revamp your intervention. Now, we are in there just trying our best, trying to get these kids to work and to become these amazing readers. And there's some things that we need to look out for. So we're going to jump into the 5 ways that we know it is time to take a look at our interventions. Number 1, you're not getting results. You got to get results. So this being said, we know that intervention, quality intervention delivered to our students by very talented instructors are going to reap some rewards. So how do we know if we are or aren't getting any results? Well, you got to look at the data. We need to make sure that we are progress monitoring every 2 to 3 weeks and that you're then analyzing that data so that you can see, well, are they making progress or are they not? If you're not getting results now, and I don't mean like one little dip, or, Johnny had a bad week kind of thing. But if you have at least 3 data points on a student and what we're doing isn't working, well, you need to take a look at some things. You can take a look at, first of all, you can take a look at your curriculum. Is your curriculum matched to student need? That being said, have you identified the need correctly? Your data collection, your universal screener and additional diagnostics that you're doing should be telling you pretty spot on what it is that you actually need to work on with your student. So maybe you've misidentified that. So go back to the data, take a look at that. Progress monitor, see if your students are making progress. And if you've got 3 data points where a student isn't making any progress, you need to take a look at what you're doing. And perhaps it's a system problem that you have in your intervention. Perhaps it's just a group dynamic thing that you need to take a look at. But there's going to be some tweaking that you're going to have to do. So that's the first thing. Second thing, what do we do? Or how do we know that our intervention is going to need a little bit of help? Well, that is that your kids are missing core instruction. This is a huge no-no. You can't have kids come out of instruction for intervention and expect to close that achievement gap. It doesn't happen. So what you have to do is really look at your system at that point. Do you have this school-wide schedule where everybody comes out at the same time so that there is no revolving door? Kids aren't constantly being pulled out of core instruction. Our core instruction is the most important instruction. They say first instruction first. So let's make sure that we really protect it, make sure that you advocate for that, because we are not going to make any progress if we are constantly taking students out of core instruction. Not going to happen. All right, what's the third way that we know that students or that our intervention actually needs to be taken a look at? And that is that your teachers don't have buy-in to what you're doing. This is a tough one. Now, your teachers are a crucial and important part of this school-wide intervention team. They really need to be. And first of all, if your teachers don't know what you're doing, how you're doing it, when you're doing it, and what results you're getting, how can they have any buy-in? It's not their fault. So really, it's your job as the interventionist to do some professional development with your teachers. Show them what you're doing. Like I like to say, shamelessly promote what you're doing. You kind of have to have a little PR on your side at this case because you're doing something different. Invite teachers in to come and watch. Invite your administrators in. Get people to come in and look at what you're doing so that the buzz on the street is you're kind of kicking some butt in there. And you want them to be able to talk about how proud they are of this program that you have created. Now, this is going to fall really on you, the interventionist or the leader in charge of whatever your particular intervention is. But it is really, really important. Educate your teachers. spend some time looking at data, tell those stories about those amazing growths that you're getting from certain kids so that you can share the wins. You get them for 30 or 40 minutes a day, they have them the whole time. So it really is the team effect of all of this instruction that is what's causing these kids to improve. It's not you by yourself, and it's not the teacher by themselves. So we need to recognize and share what you're doing there so that your teachers, they will be your best advocates. They are going to celebrate with you, but they can't do that if they don't know what you're doing. So make sure that you can help your teachers to know what you're doing so that you can create some buy-in for them. All right, next, the fourth thing that is a way to know that your intervention probably needs some tweaking is you, my friend, do not have a team. This is really, really important here. You're doing big work. If we can say 20% of your students on your campus are struggling, that's a lot of kids. If you've got, a school population of 500-600, that's a lot of kids. And you will not be able to target those kids by yourself. So you have to try to advocate with your district or your administrators and find out how can you get some people there to help you. The more people you have on your team, the more students that you'll be able to help. So in my intervention, typically what I have, my site right now is about 700, and there are 3 paras and myself. So between 4 of us, we are able to reach between 110, 120 students. That's a pretty good deal, I would think. So at a larger school, you might need more. At a smaller school, you would need less, but you need a team. And let me say this about the team that you have. I really believe kind of the optimal way to do it is that you have yourself, that one teacher leader. You might be a reading specialist, an interventionist, just an amazingly passionate teacher who's willing to fight for what's right for kids. And that's fantastic. But you can't do it alone. Now, everything that you are going to prepare for your teachers, because you're trying to explain to them what you're doing and you're learning, you're constantly searching and reading research and figuring out what kinds of strategies are going to work best in your program. You need to share that with your team as well. Everything that I prepare for my teachers goes through my paras at my team first. They are amazing. They are sponges. They may not have the degree you have or the instructional toolkit that you carry, but man, if you're lucky, they're going to have the heart. And if they have the heart, they want to do what's best for kids. And so in my experience, they have just been like, tell me everything. What can I do? What can I learn? And they absorb all of that and in turn are better instructors for your students. So train your paras. This is really important. But above all else, you have to show some gratitude for them. First of all, you have to get them if you don't have them. And second of all, you got to keep the team functioning really well. And that is with some gratitude. I think that sometimes districts or schools, they get a little ahead of themselves. They want to buy these big giant curriculum kits that cost thousands of dollars. And I think, how many paras could you have put in that lab? I would rather have teachers, adults building relationships with my students than another box of stuff. So if that's something that you're finding, man, it is worth the fight. It's worth the fight to get some people there. And if you're like me, your brain is like the internet and you have like 75 million tabs open at a time, having that team there kind of keeps you focused and dialed in on what you need to do. You can build on each other's strengths. It is so important. So if you don't have a team, find a way to get one. Really start those conversations with your administrators because it is the best money spent, in my opinion. Okay, so the fifth and probably most important thing to look out for and to know if you need to revamp your intervention is, I feel like we need a drum roll, but I don't know how to play the drums. Your kids don't like coming. If your students don't enjoy intervention, we've got to figure something out. So I want you to think about this for a minute. Your students they have experienced pretty much an educational lifetime worth of failure. They have year after year been behind, and now they're so far behind that, they have to be in this additional program. And so that's a lot of weight on little shoulders. And the first and most important thing that you have to do in order to get to here is get to here. Couldn't remember which side my heart was on. You have to get to here. So you have to get to their heart. You have to show them that the hard work is going to pay off. And that means that they have to come, they have to have the right attitude. We have to eliminate behavior problems so that you can totally just get to what needs to happen so that they can become better readers. Once they start seeing this, oh my God, I'm getting it. It's making sense. I'm getting better. I can see it. It's going to take off from there. But before then, you got to do a lot of work. So let me tell you a couple things that we do in my lab. We have a closet full of brain games. Now, they are brain games. They're literacy-based educational games that develop and continue to practice certain skills that we are working on in our reading lab. And on Fridays, when the kids have worked really hard and they've done what they've needed to do, we have Brain Game Friday, and the kids absolutely love it. So Fridays they come in, we're usually charting their progress. They can see where they're at, and then the next 20 minutes or so is spent on these literacy-based games that the kids are they're loud, they're having fun, they're building relationships with their teachers, and they're still learning. I have told them they can't call it game day because I tell them, if you don't call it brain game day, they may not let us do it anymore. So the kids now know, oh, it's Brain Game Friday, not just game day. But it has been a really great way to keep my students motivated at every single level. They all love it, and they're all a little competitive. So we have a great time with Brain Game Friday. That's one thing you can do. A couple other things that we do. We have what we call rock and reader tickets. And when students have done something really great, we put their name and room number on a rock and reader ticket. It goes up to the office. You have all your little behavior things that you do at your school, and they get their name drawn on a Friday for a prize. They love getting rock and reader tickets. Another thing that we do, which I think is just absolutely the best, is at the end of every semester, so around December and May, we do a big readers theater production where we're still building all of the fluency, all the prosody, expression. The kids are learning a little bit about, how they act. Not that they have to memorize it because it's readers theater. And we practice that all week, and then we do a performance on the Friday, and it's our celebration, and we have snacks and just a great time. And so those are just three of the things that we do to keep our kids really engaged. Most important out of that is the relationships that they build with the adults. We give hugs, and they love to come in, and high fives, and just lots and lots of confidence building and motivation and things so that they can get over that hump of, this stuff is hard for them. So nobody likes to do something that's hard. I'm not going to go out and run a marathon. If you knew me, no way. But we have to get kids to cross that, get over that hump of that fear. And this is one of the ways that we do it. So there you have it. You had 5 ways or 5 things that you need to look for to see if maybe your intervention needs some revamping. So let me recap. I might have to look at my notes, but let me think about it. So number 1, you're not getting results. We got to fix that. Number 2, your kids are missing core instruction. Absolutely a no-no. We've got to fix that. Number 3, your teachers aren't buying into what you're doing. You have to promote what you're doing. You've got to be, kind of shout it from the rooftops. Get your teachers on board. Number 4, you don't have a team. If you don't have a team, we got to get you one. And then finally, and most importantly, your kids don't love coming to intervention. And if that's the case, definitely that's something you can walk into tomorrow and you can fix that immediately. They are worth every single second of your time and effort in all of this. So if you would be so kind, I would love to hear your feedback. I want to hear what are some other things maybe that have you questioning that you might need some change, some or some really cool things that you do to compensate for any of those. I would love to hear that as well. So please leave a comment. I would love it if you would subscribe and like this video. It might keep me doing them. I'm having a good time with it, so we'll see if we can keep going. And, we're in this journey together. Nobody's an island here, so let's learn from each other. All right? Have a great day. Thanks.